the significance of this grim milestone, and are we seeing now cases starting to pick up at a faster rate?
Yeah, Heidi, it is a grim milestone. It's very sobering because we're seeing this, obviously, the pandemic worldwide, and it is at a much faster rate. It took 6 months after the virus first surfaced in China in January to reach 10 million infections. Now, in just 6 weeks, it's gone from 10 million to the 20 million figure, doubling, which is, really a steady acceleration and quite concerning. We really are seeing these cases all over the globe, soaring in India. The U.S. can't get the case count under control, Brazil. And we are seeing these nursing home outbreaks in places that we didn't see them earlier. Again, the U.S. is still the hardest hit place. About 4% of the world's population, a quarter of all cases, a quarter of all deaths.
And Jodi, we continue to see community spread in Hong Kong, cases in Japan rising as well. What does this tell you about potentially a new wave of cases, given that we thought these places had the virus under control?
That's right, Sherry. These are places that things seem to be under control, and some are calling it this third wave in Asia, in places that have been dealing with this really since January. In Hong Kong in particular, it's very interesting. The cases are more than 4,000 now. The third wave has been tougher than anything else than the earlier ones. But what was interesting is that about 90% of the deaths from the virus have happened since the resurgence started in July. 48 deaths as of Monday, which is still low on a worldwide scale, but 7 times the toll from the first half of the year. So a lot of this is because of care facilities and elderly care. Saying the same thing in Australia, for instance. The death rate was relatively low the first time around. Now in Australia, fatality records that were broken on 2 consecutive days. 17 people died on Sunday in the state of Victoria. So the care facilities are really a lot of this. They've just been related to outbreaks in elderly care homes.
India, of course, a different situation from the rest of Southeast Asia. What are we seeing there in terms of the virus situation and the ongoing concerns?
Yeah, and so in India, this has been a place where, we've seen a lot of cases throughout this, but we've had a real concern. It jumped from 1 million to 2.2 million in 24 days just, which is very concerning. Recoveries have surged rapidly as well, which is the good news. People are recuperating fast, but the caseloads are going up. And this, of course, is a concern in places that are, tightly packed. And so that is really a concern, trying to get this under control. Again, everyone's waiting for this vaccine, but we're now hearing that the vaccine likely won't be available well into 2021, where most people can get it and use it, especially most Americans. So this is very concerning. This is not something that's going to go away. And, of course, with the flu season coming up in the U.S. and in places that have had warm weather this summer, but it's going to get cold in the fall, kind of the opposite than we're seeing in Australia, it is really going to be a concern what happens then without a vaccine.